Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tajania Henderson. I serve as Dean of the Graduate School here at Rutgers University, Newark, and it is my pleasure to welcome you here today. We have with us some of our faculty and students from two of our most popular master's programs, the master's program in political science and the master's program in peace and conflict studies. I've been calling this program Peace and Politics because I think that's a cool way of thinking about how these two programs might have some intersections, and also thinking about what grad study in, say, peace, or grad study in, or peace studies in political science, what it might look like for some of you. I know that some of you who are joining us are people who are interested in law school. Some of you are interested in maybe going on for PhDs. And I can tell you that our Peace and Conflict Studies program and our political science program both have incredible track records with sending people on to further graduate study, and to some pretty exceptional institutions. So we're really excited about that. We are also joined by our colleagues from the Office of Admissions, Anita Prunty and Stella Sue. The two of them have been nothing but great partners for us. And so we have them here so that they can answer admissions questions. We have our faculty here to answer program questions. And then we also have a student here who I'm going to ask some questions of a little bit later. So I want to say thank you to everyone. And we're going to get started. I'm going to spotlight Dr. Cooting and Dr. Mitchell. So this is me trying to work Zoom. Just give me a second. Add a spotlight. Okay. Dr. Cooting and Dr. Mitchell, thank you so much for being here. I'm wondering if both of you can talk a little bit, maybe together or individually, which sort of, separately, whichever you think makes the most sense, about your program and how it's structured. Dr. Cooting, you want to start?
Sure. So our master's program in political science has two tracks. You can either specialize in American politics or in global politics. And we sort of have a range of courses, that there are some common core courses for both tracks, which you will have to take. And then we have a range of electives from which you can choose. And some of these electives are in global politics, some of them are in American politics, some of them are at the intersection. You're also allowed to take a certain number of classes, I believe 2, in related disciplines. So if you're really interested in something, you could, for example, say you're interested in migration, and there are courses on offer in, for example, history or economics. You will be allowed to sort of specialize in that area and take up to 2 classes in a different department. Talking a little bit more about our own program. So as I said, there's 3 core courses. So we have a core course, which is an introductory class called Approaches to Political Science, which you take at the beginning, which gives you an overview of how we teach political science at Rutgers Newark, but also about an overview of kind of the state of the art of the discipline. This is complemented by a capstone class, which you take towards the end of your degree. We sort of bring together everything you've learned and you sort of do a project. And the third core class is a course in research methods. And as I said, then you either specialize in global politics or in American politics. So you do 3 electives, so you do 3 classes in either the one or the other. And the rest of your classes, you have sort of free range what you want to take. I'll leave it at that for the time being.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that you ended with this idea of flexibility, because one of the things that I appreciate as dean about these two programs is just the wide amount of flexibility that students have to build the program that makes the most sense for them. Mm-hmm. So students who think, I really am interested in migration and I want to find, all of the migration scholars and I want to take every class that I can with them, then they have an opportunity to sort of seek those out and to make them part of their course of study in political science or in peace and conflict studies. And I love that. Dr. Mitchell, tell us a little bit about how the PCS program is structured.
Sure, and thank you, Tajania. So Peace and Conflict Studies program is housed in the Department of Sociology and Anthropology. So it's really, you get a grounding in kind of core social sciences and social theory and different approaches to understanding conflict and causes of conflict and conflict resolution and how peace can be made. So the first semester, you take an introduction to peace and conflict studies, which is taught by the entire faculty. So we each rotate through and have one session. So you get a sense of the different approaches of the faculty, what they work on, and you're able to, at the beginning, kind of choose whom you would want to advise you, because you need to have advisors over the course of the program. So really to kind of make the program meet your interests. And just to talk a little bit about like the diversity of the topics that the faculty work on in relation to peace and conflict. My own research is in Brazil, and I've done a lot of work on inequality politics and conflict. We have, and forgive me in advance to faculty members who I miss here, I'm just going to off the top of my head list some of the people who teach our core courses and advise our students. Zahra Ali, who does incredible work in Iraq. It's ethnographic work. So she, a number of us are, as am I, ethnographers. We do, kind of really deep research into, how things work in people's lives. And she works with feminist movements in Iraq. So really, really interesting stuff. Brian Ferguson, who is, one of the preeminent scholars, anthropologists of war and conflict and peace, has worked on a whole range of things. So many people. Kurt Schock, who has done fantastic work on nonviolent social movements and how political change is made without violent conflict. And I could go on and on. There are a lot of different people working on interesting areas, and students need to take core courses in our three main distribution areas, which are the social and cultural bases of conflict and cooperation. So those are courses that look at, the causes of conflict, violent conflict itself. So courses that look at actual violent conflict, and then nonviolent social movements and recovery from violence. And you need to take one core course in each of those distribution areas, which are offered, rotating set of courses each semester. And then you also are able to choose from electives from across the university. And the other course requirements are to take one methods class and one theory class. I teach a course in social theory in the program. You get a real grounding in the fundamentals of social and cultural theory. And then finally, after that coursework is done, or when students are finishing their coursework, you have the option to either write a kind of thesis or paper. I'm sorry, that's my daughter calling. I'll get it after I speak. She's coming home from school right now. So either to write a thesis or to take written take-home exams. And you do three, they're kind of short essays that you have to write. And the questions are designed by faculty and in relation to your particular interest. So there are kind of three different essays you have to write. And again, it's either an individual research project or these three different exams that you do in collaboration with faculty members. And that is our kind of capstone of the program.
Thank you so much. So one of the things that I want folks who are here to sort of take away from these descriptions is that even while there is quite a bit of flexibility in both programs, there is also this solid grounding in the discipline, right? This solid theoretical grounding, this solid methodological grounding. So you're not just learning theory just for theory's sake. You are learning theory and you are learning research methods so that you can become a knowledge producer yourself, which is, this is the case in many of our master's programs and all of them, but there are some places where there's a lot of theory and there isn't a lot of opportunity for you to really apply that theory. And so this is super exciting because just as Dr. Kooting and Dr. Mitchell were describing, All of those faculty who are in these departments who are working with these students, they have students collaborating with them in the research. They have students working on the public facing projects. They're taking students to travel, to do research on the ground in other places. And these are the types of opportunities that I think help some of our students here at Rutgers Newark really imagine themselves as researchers. Like, I can really do this. Maybe I could go and get a PhD because I'm good at this. And that's the kind of experience that we love to create and foster here with the students in these programs. I wanted to ask, because both of your programs are also programs that offer accelerated master's programs. So if I was, say, a sophomore at Rutgers Newark, a second-year student, and I was thinking, maybe I want to do this, sort of what advice would you have for me as I'm looking ahead to what it might mean to apply for the accelerated program? Dr. Mitchell, you want to start?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so I would say, one, keep your grades good because in order to enter the program, you need at least a 3.2 GPA to apply for the BA, MA. If you have an interest in those topics, you can apply during your junior year. And then it is an accelerated master's program in your senior year of college. You could take a mix of undergrad and grad courses, which you get at the kind of undergrad tuition rate, which is reduced rates to be paying less than grad students. And then you'd be able to graduate. So those graduate courses would count both towards your bachelor's degree and eventually towards the MA. And then you'd have one additional year of the coursework and the final project or exams, and you could finish up the degree then with just 1 year after your BA rather than the standard 2 years that the MA takes.
Thank you so much. Dr. Cooting, what advice would you have for folks who may be thinking, oh, I could do an accelerated master's?
I mean, in poli-sci, the advice would be pretty similar, not surprisingly. So we would say, like, if you're really interested in poli-sci, then and you have good grades, and usually like these sort of having a strong interest and having good grades go hand in hand. Is that, you should come and see the graduate advisor in your junior year to discuss the program. And then or whoever would be the graduate director would encourage the student to apply and explain the program. And it's pretty similar to what it is in peace and conflict studies. So you would apply in your junior year, and then once you get admitted and you are in your senior year, you would do 4 graduate classes while you're an undergraduate, 2 for each semester. And in that period, so these courses, like the unique part of the system is that those courses count both towards the undergraduate and the graduate degree. So by the time you graduate with your undergraduate degree, you would then take these 4 classes and then move them kind of hypothetically over into the graduate box. And they would count again. So you start your master's, your graduate career having already 4 classes under your belt. So it's like a really good opportunity to fast track, to be exposed to some graduate work while you're an undergraduate, to sort of learn about the challenge and grow with a challenge. I mean, that's one of the beauties of the system is when you're with students who are more advanced than you are and you're a good student, you will rise to that level. It's either when you're an undergraduate, you're in a graduate class, or we often also have PhD students sitting in our master's classes. And I always love it when we have a couple of PhD students in there, because the undergraduates look up to the graduate students, the master students look up to them, and they sort of learn how to do things, and then they gradually move up to that level. And it's, that sort of opportunity, not just that you can get your master's quicker, which is great, and you save some money, which is great. But it's also, you're facing these extra challenges, and you are able, like, you're obviously a student who's capable of meeting these challenges, and then to sort of have that success in your life, that you sort of you did it. And so there's all these different levels there that like are really, you know, make the program so exciting.
It's like, you know, I could do this. I could do this. Yes,
Yeah.
it's super encouraging.
So the first class, sorry, so the first class you sit there, they sit there and they go, "Ooh, I don't know about this." Right?
Like, did I do the right thing?
Am I in the right place? And then after 2 or 3 classes, you can see, yeah, maybe I can do this. And as time goes on, you know that, yeah, I can do it.
Yes. I wondered if you could talk a little bit. I know this is always a concern, and I'll talk a little bit about it from the graduate school side, but I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about funded opportunities in your programs, funded research opportunities, or if there are projects that sometimes have students either as hourly workers or as grad assistants or anything like that. Yeah, either of you could.
Okay, I'll go first. Unfortunately, our department, we ourselves don't have any funding, but I have to say that the graduate school has been very generous in the past. Like there are certain scholarships from the graduate school, and our students have been very successful at obtaining these scholarships. And we've also, like, there's a system that the home department of the master's degree gets a certain number of tuition waivers. And I have been, like, in the past 5 years as graduate director, I have been able to make at least give each student 1 tuition waiver. So all of our students have had 1 tuition waiver. So they had like kind of 1 class for free, which is not a lot, but you know, every little bit counts.
Absolutely. And if you think about a 5-year accelerated master student, they are getting 1 of 6 classes, right? They only have 6 left to do or 7 left to do. They're getting 1 of those taken care of by the program. That's a huge help.
Yes, yes.
Dr. Mitchell, what about in peace and conflict studies?
Yeah,
what sort of strategy?
Sure, my answer is similar for political science. We do have sometimes some limited funds that we're able to help students with to defray some cost of tuition, and we also have those waivers. And then students can apply for the graduate school, but we don't have any other independent source of funding in the department.
Thank you so much. And on the graduate school side, we offer every year a sort of universal scholarship program where every student who's not funded can apply for a scholarship from the graduate school. In prior years, those were pretty modest scholarships, maybe $700 or $900. In recent years, we've more than doubled those so that the average scholarship award is over $1,000. And the goal with that is to ensure that that we are actually helping students with the real cost of tuition, which, as many of you know, has gone up, and also using this as a tool to help students with degree completion, because often students are very close to the end. They need 1 more class, and that 1 more class is one that they don't have the funds for. And so in those kinds of cases, we are motivated to help those students get across the finish line. We also, in addition to those scholarships, offer 2 tuition scholarships, 2 separate tuition fellowships that master students are eligible for. One of those is the Trustees Fellowship, which is awarded every year. The second of those is the Ralph Bunche Fellowship, which is also awarded every year. We award those to students who are exceptional. And you know, every year one of those goes to a master's student. So this is sort of a commitment on the part of the graduate school to ensure that we have funding supports going to those students. In addition, we also have some master students that the graduate school funds if those students are working with us in a graduate assistant capacity. So right now, today, I have 1 master student that's working with my office. This is a student that's been helping with one of our student development and pipeline initiatives. And it's a master's student right here in psychology, actually. And the graduate school is funding that student with a full TA-ship, teaching assistant, graduate assistant position. So those are also available for students that are working with us on some projects. We also offer other opportunities for students to have a chance to work with the graduate school in one of these funded capacities. And we send those emails out to everybody. And so, you know, it doesn't just go to students in certain departments or anything. When I send stuff, I send it to everybody. And the point there is, one, so that our master students can actually start to build that muscle of applying for things, because I know many of them want to go to law school, many of them want to go to PhD programs, and I want them to start applying, getting that language down, sort of practicing that writing skill, all of that, and this helps them get there. And so we make those opportunities available for them too, and hope that they will see our little emails and respond and have an opportunity to have maybe a semester or 2 semesters or a summer with some funding, right? Some money in their pockets. So it's not a bad thing. I'm wondering, Dr. Kuding, can you talk a little bit about what people do when they leave political science? I know I'm going to talk to Heather in a second, but I'm curious to hear, sort of in your 4 years in the program, what have you seen?
So our students do a range of things after they graduate. So we have the students going on to graduate study, of course, to law school or to a PhD program. A lot of our students end up in government in various positions, either at the national level, at the federal level, at the state level, or the local level. We also have a lot of students who work for non-governmental organizations as in some sort of policy function. Some students go into teaching.
Dr. Mitchell, what about in PCS? Sort of what are you hearing from students about what they're doing after graduation?
Similar, we have students who go on to PhD programs and others who have gone into different kinds of non-governmental organizations, especially working on issues of peace and conflict. So another thing I haven't mentioned, there's an outfit called the Forage Center, which runs these incredible kind of humanitarian aid simulations. And they've reached out to me to establish a collaboration. So it's something that students can do for a few days during the summer to get some real hands-on experience for that kind of work, because a lot of our students, do have an interest in doing that kind of humanitarian work for the United Nations or other institutions or non-governmental organizations. But so those have been the main tracks at this point.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned this summer opportunity, because my next question was going to be, a lot of our students are eager to do internships. So what have you been hearing from students about internships? I know I've been hearing from PCS students that some of them have sought internships either with the UN or in the UN or in some UN affiliated agency. But I would be curious what the two of you are hearing from students in terms of internship possibilities. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, both political science and peace and conflict studies offer an internship course, meaning students can pursue an internship and earn academic credit while they're doing it. But I'm curious about where those students have been placed.
Sure, we have had students get internships at the United Nations. We do offer credit for internships. And also there's the possibility of experiential credit. Some of our students, we had a student doing really interesting work with a nonviolence, non-governmental organization, and she was able to, which she didn't come into as a formal internship. It was work that she kind of came through independently, and we were able to get her credit for one course, experiential credit. Students who do that kind of work are able to apply, and if it's relevant work, to receive that credit.
Yeah, so we have a similar experience, and we have an internship coordinator in the department. So internships, like our internship coordinator gets emailed by a lot of government offices and other institutions that are looking for interns, and we have a list and it gets disseminated. So this is for undergraduates and graduates. So, and similarly, like you can register for an internship class and you get 3 credits. And it's organized again through our internship coordinator. And these sorts of internships we have sent students to in the recent past is a lot of government offices. At the moment, a lot of like even the federal offices have online internships. So you don't actually, so for example, you can do an internship in DC, but you're not actually in DC, which is like from a financial point of view, this is really attractive. So we have a long-standing history with the Government Accountability Office. And we actually, we have students who have found jobs there. So because we have this pipeline, they're always very willing to mentor and help out. So there's all these kinds of opportunities.
Oh, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because if we're sort of looking for a silver lining or a silver thread to come out of the past 3 years, I think it has been the availability of internship and experiential opportunities that our students could do remotely. Because what it means is that our students can actually experience a new organization and really show what they're made of, right? Our students can show what we're training them for without having to pack up, pay to move, pay to find a new place, pay a security deposit, all of that, which would be really, really expensive. And historically, the only people who could do those types of internships were people who had the money to do them because they're not paid. So if it's unpaid internship and you got to pay to move and pay to live, then you're paying for the chance to do it. Whereas with these remote opportunities, you can actually do them from home and you don't have to move. You still have to show up and you have to perform well, but that added expense is removed, which I think has just been great for removing that barrier to participation. So thank you, Dr. Cooting and Dr. Mitchell. Did I miss anything? I want to make sure, is there anything I should have asked you? I've been using that question recently. Is there anything I should have asked?
It's a good question, but I think you did a great job of I can't think of anything else.
Okay, I was trying to cover the field. So if you think of something, certainly send it to me in a chat, and I'll get to it. I want to ask Heather to join me. Heather, hello. So Heather Lee is a second year master's student in political science. And Heather, I was wondering if you could talk for, a minute or two about your experience and kind of what attracted you to the program and also what you feel like you're taking with you.
Sure. I think that one of the biggest things that the program has done for me is it gave me clarity about the direction that I wanted to go in. When I finished with my undergraduate studies, I'm a non-traditional student. I'm older. I didn't have an academic background at all. And I wasn't sure. I just kind of gradually came into political science and fell in love with it, but I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go from there. And so my advisor had encouraged me to apply for this program. And this sounds like I'm contradicting myself because on one hand, it gave me clarity. And then on the other hand, it opened so many new things because it's just been such an amazing experience. And, like everybody has said so far, I plan next year to apply for PhD programs at some world-renowned institutions. And whether or not I get in, I'm not a long shot at all. And that is because of what I've gotten from the program. I absolutely, a class that I had last semester, I was the only person that wasn't getting their PhD. And I did not feel like at first, the first day of class, I said, am I really supposed to be here? Because I wasn't sure. It was very intimidating at first. Let me not, don't be confused about that. But as I got into, as we went further along and the professor was great and she talked to me, and over time, I was like, I'm not falling behind at all. In fact, I'm contributing as much as I'm getting, and I just, that confidence is something that I did not have as an undergraduate student for sure. But the graduate program, oh my gosh, the approaches class was amazing. Because I had no idea, all the different avenues that you can go in with political science. We've had in one of my classes, I think it was with Dr. Kuding, there was somebody getting their master's in statistics. It's like, who's getting their master's in statistics and is in this political science class? But it absolutely was relevant. And there was somebody else who was getting their PhD, but was an economist and wanted to become an environmental economist. So it opened so many different things. I was like, oh my gosh. So, I mean, it's just been, I can't say enough about my experience with all of my classes, with my professors, my classmates, the support staff, everything. And not just what I've learned, but just the confidence that it's given me, and all of my professors have been supportive, but also tell me the truth. Like, this is not what we're looking for right now. You need to improve here. And I've taken a couple of classes outside of my discipline, which is, the flexibility has been great, because in some ways I got so more from going outside my discipline and feeling uncomfortable and not realizing I have to think differently, read differently, write differently, speak differently in this class if I'm going to keep my GPA at 4.0. And that really, I think, made me more well-rounded, just in terms of, and added to the confidence and my interests. One of the classes that I took last semester was, it was for teaching at the college and university level. And there was a course embedded inside of that class where we got a certificate in addition to having the class. So if that's something that I want to do down the road, as far as, teaching, I feel like I would not be completely lost walking into a college classroom and teaching that class, nor would I be lost. Will I be lost when I work with my friend in Alaska over the summer, working on a program to get more Native people to run for political office? So I don't feel like I'm out of my league at all. So it's been an amazing experience. I'm so glad that I when the ball was thrown to me, I said, all right, I'm going to give it a shot.
I'm so glad that you did. And I
Yeah.
really appreciate how you describe this experience as a confidence building experience, because I have definitely heard people say that their confidence was shaken in graduate school, that in graduate school, they didn't feel their best. They didn't feel like they could contribute in the way others were contributing. And so to hear you talk about graduate school as a confidence building experience, to me is, like, this is what we dream of. We dream that our students can be built by the community and the environment that we have constructed here, and not just that they imagine, this is the place where I spent 2 years and it was sad and dreary and I can't believe I went to grad school because it was so hard for me, right? This is a place where you can grow and it can be a positive experience. And so thank you for that.
But I'm not a natural student. It's not something that comes natural. It came natural to me. I've had to work hard, but I think that the environment, and specifically Rutgers Newark, I can't emphasize that enough. I am so grateful that I chose Rutgers Newark.
Oh, and we are grateful that you chose here too. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. So when you were at sort of, you said that your advisor had recommended Rutgers Newark to you, kind of put it on your radar. And when you're thinking as someone who, you said you were a non-traditional student, someone who is not coming sort of, looking like all of the other students that show up to college, sort of what considerations did you have in mind when you were deciding on whether or not to join the program?
Well, I did finish my undergraduate at Rutgers Newark. I started at a community college because I had an 8th grade education prior to that. So I started at a community college, and it was my advisor there who she really encouraged me to go for Rutgers Newark. And I applied to a few schools, and I got into all of the schools I applied to. Her 3 daughters who went on to medical school all went to Rutgers Newark, and she said that the individual and the attention that you get and the resources that are available, if you ask, you'll find the help. And so that's the what got me to Rutgers Newark. And then for the graduate program, I was thinking about law school because I thought, oh my gosh, now I have this political science degree. I graduated at the top of my class, but, with a bachelor's degree, I wasn't really sure where to go after that. And so I thought, well, apply to law school, but I wasn't even sure with that. And did I want to go into that kind of debt and make that kind of commitment, especially at my age? Not that that would stop me, but these were all things that I thought about. And my professor at the time, she said, I think that this program will give you some clarity about what you want to do. And it really, because I wanted to be able to work in a capacity that gave me autonomy later on down the road, and gave me flexibility to explore different interests, and not be completely locked down into one thing, which is fine for, some people, in a 9-to-5, that's what some people need, but I just wanted something a little bit different. And that's what this program gave me. But specifically the Newark campus, my cohort is small. We all have remained in touch. They are going on to do really amazing things. And I know them, I feel so grateful to know them, and we've stayed a pretty tight bunch. And just in terms of being able to, I stay in touch with professors that I had in my undergrad, sending them emails and articles. It's probably annoying, but they always respond. And, it's just something that I don't think that I would have got that at any other school or program. And really that's, it really gave me more room to grow. It really gave me a lot of room to grow and kind of explore different interests, because I could, I wasn't in these classes where there's 120 people. And, I would not have done as well as I have. Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and for talking so candidly about the path, about sort of what you were considering, what you were thinking about, and what being here has meant to you. It means a lot to me that you were willing to be here today, and I can only thank you for giving us a little bit of time and for sharing that perspective. I think it's helpful for folks who are thinking about these programs to hear from our students. They can tell the story better than we can, right? They can tell you the experience better than we can. And so thank you so much, Heather.
Thank you.
So I wanted to ask our faculty whether there was anything specifically that you wanted folks who may be listening, sort of what next steps they can take. We have what's it called? The grad study website, which is here. I'm going to put it in the chat for folks who are thinking that they may be ready. You can explore all of our programs via the grad study website. That'll send you right to the websites that you need to see. You can learn more about these programs, about, what they have going on in the departments, what the classes look like, what the curriculum design looks like, et cetera. So we want to share that so people have that resource. We also have our colleagues here from admissions. I want to check with them. Dear admissions partners, did I miss anything? Is there anything else I should share? Maybe the answer is nothing. Did I do a good job, Stella and Anita?
Yeah, I believe you covered it all.
All right. So Gabriella and Sean, any final thoughts or sort of what should someone do if they're thinking, maybe I want to do this? Maybe peace and conflict studies is where I'm supposed to be. What should they do next, Sean? Should they contact you? Tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you can look at the website, that, you know, in addition to the kind of grad study website, the Peace and Conflict Studies, we have our own website. Feel free to reach out to me or frankly, any of the other faculty members. One thing I didn't say, it's a small program. So, you know, the classes are small and the faculty members are really willing to spend time with the students and helping students. I am friendly, you know, I will welcome emails from anybody, even if you just want some information. Happy to talk or set up a Zoom meeting or whatever. So yeah, feel free to reach out. You can look at the materials and, you know, as I said, you can reach out to me or frankly to the other faculty members too. But I, you know, really welcome any students who want information.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Kuding, what should a student interested in political science do next?
Same here. So I very much welcome inquiries. Just send me an email. I usually respond within 24 hours. And look at our website and look at the graduate school website. And if you've got any questions, come to me and I'd gladly help.
Lovely. I should, before we go, I should open it to see if any of our attendees have any questions. Please put them in the chat if you have any questions, and I'll hold off on ending to make sure that if we have any questions that they can be answered. There's a Q&A box. Please put your question in the Q&A box. And I'll give you like a minute to do so. In the meantime, I want to thank Dr. Kuding from Political Science, Dr. Mitchell from the Peace and Conflict Studies program. Thank you, thank you, thank you to Heather Lee from Political Science. We really appreciate it. And of course, thank you to the amazing admissions team at Rutgers Newark. Like nobody beats them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We really, you know, we couldn't do this without you and without your counsel and help. So thank you so much. All right, I don't think I see any questions. So that just means y'all did a good job. All right, everybody. So thank you so much. This is being recorded, so we'll make this available for folks in case you have a friend or if you're thinking, oh, I may have missed something, I want to go back. You can definitely access this. We'll make sure that it's available on our website and also on our YouTube page. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.